And Special Olympics, watu wana confusing Special Olympics na Paralympics. Na hizo max zingine. Yeah, so today we have the people who matter, who have made the sport become very popular. Wameipatia momentum, imegain traction. It's taking the country by storm, and Kenya is being put on the world map because of Special Olympics Kenya. And we are sharing their story today because that's special. And of course, today we have Susan Masila, the National Director of Special Olympics Kenya. Karibu sana. It's always a pleasure to have you around. And then also we have Joshua Agare, an athlete na mtu ni ambassador wetu wa Kenya. With the people who represent us internationally are people definitely we always appreciate. Joshua Agare, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Tunashukuru sana. Susan, Paralympics, Special Olympics, why do people confuse the two, and what is that thin line between these two?
They confuse the two because they are not the same, one. They are two distinctive organizations. In a nutshell, Paralympics is under International Paralympics Committee, which is also under IOC, and here in Kenya it should be under NOC. While Special Olympics is Special Olympics, it's under Special Olympics International. We serve different constituents, while Paralympics will serve different classifications of disabilities, from physical, visually impaired, short stature, as well as intellectual disabilities. Special Olympics only serves persons with intellectual disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other distinctive difference is that Paralympics will serve the elite athletes, while Special Olympics serves athletes with, of all ability levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
ID, intellectual disability, for someone who doesn't understand that, what does it entail exactly? And I mean, who qualifies to be a person with an intellectual disability?
Intellectual disability, as defined by the World Health Organization under the international classification, is defined as a person who has sub-average intellectual functioning, which means their intellectual capacity, according to the IQ quotient, is below the normal or the normal IQ. But also this has to be accompanied by limitation in two or more other areas. For example, they might have issues with communication, speech, taking care of themselves and such like things. But again, the other distinctive definition is that all these must manifest before the age of 18 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Now, there is, of course, I remember Special Olympics back, of course, you did some selection. We'll be talking that a little bit later. But what is the challenge of getting to recruit people to come and join the different sports? Because you are in aquatics, you do swimming, you do soccer, you do basketball, you do volleyball, you do handball and netball. How do you do this selection? Or, I mean, how does it go about? Because not many people know how it goes about and where you do this.
Yeah, before I go to the challenges, let me mention that Special Olympics globally offers over 32 Olympic-type sports, both winter and summer sports. Challenges with recruitment are many, and for example, in our context, African context, attitude is one big challenge because we are socialized to believe that people with intellectual disabilities cannot do anything. So we also have low expectations about them. So by the time you convince a parent or a teacher gets convinced that this child can do A, B, C, D, it takes time. And you'll find most of them will be initiated in sports at an older age, rather than a typical child who starts playing as soon as they are born, or even as soon as they are conceived, because psychologists say they'll play even when they're in their mother's womb. Yeah, so attitude is one. The other challenge is our coaches are all volunteers. And where do you get somebody who wants to volunteer their time for nothing? Because there's a lot of our economic situation and a lot of factors that will contribute to that. And again, when you look at training an individual with intellectual disabilities, is a little bit more different than training a typical athlete, because their learning process is slower. They may have other needs that would require somebody else to take care of. So you'll find all these contribute towards bringing up a professional athlete who has intellectual disabilities.
I bring in an athlete, Joshua Agare. Someone who wants to join you but they're discouraged, does this sport pay? Unajua at the end of the day unapeleka unga kwa meza. Mama atakuuliza umeenda kukimbia, umeenda kucheza swimming, wapi mayai ya kutengenezea mtoto? Does it pay? I mean, so far, I'm sure you've traveled. Share with someone to encourage them to join the sport.
I think Special Olympics doesn't pay, but the little which Special Olympics we get, we share with the athletes. Even as a player, we get opportunity to travel worldwide. So it doesn't pay, but the little opportunity comes when you travel. That is another exposure, because when you travel, you're gonna meet new friends, new people, opportunity to travel, whereby maybe your dream it was once to board a plane or to be a pilot. But if those get open, you get more opportunities. Like for me, I've traveled worldwide. So because of Special Olympics is what I am, and having intellectual disability it is not a sickness, but it's just a condition. And again, it is just understanding between one another. Because some of us, we are good in books, but if we are not good in books, if we come to practical things in the field play, it is a great opportunity, and that's why I've traveled worldwide because of Special Olympics. And because of one lady, one woman called Eunice Kennedy Shriver, he has made us, people who have intellectual disability, to get more opportunities in the playing field. And off of the playing field, we can be leaders in Special Olympics.
You are all, I mean, that's enough to say you're being, I mean, that's payment enough. Which kind of sports do you participate in? And I'm sure, and you know, that's traveling also, you interact with people, they see you, you get contacts, unakuwa ni ambassador tayari. But which sports do you participate in?
The first time when I joined Special Olympics in 1995, I was doing horse riding. But the English, they call it equestrian. And when I participated in horse riding, I won 2 gold medals and 1 silver.
Congratulations.
But in horse riding, it is not the way you need to run fast. It's just the way you control the horse and you win. So you're being told run it, walk it, and you win the medal. And after that, I changed my sports to athletics. In 2003, I participated in Dublin, Ireland, and I won silver in relay and a bronze in 100 meters. And I changed my sports to 2011, whereby I played handball, and I participated and I won, the team handball won silver. And I enabled to ensure Special Olympics Kenya to start a new game called floor hockey. It is in a smooth surface, and whereby when we started, we improvised the field and everything, and we went to South Korea, and we came back with the goal, and it was the first time. Fantastic. So because of Special Olympics, I always tell my other players, don't base in one sport, but if you can be able to play football, handball, swimming, go for it. And at the end of it all, you have so many chances for winning and to participate in Special Olympics.
Very true. You can hear that story. Joshua Agare has participated since 1995. That's an opportunity for you also to take part in this sport. And this brings in now this question to the National Director. Susan, you have the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi?
Yes.
In February next year?
In
March next year.
Yeah.
What's the criteria for selection? Who are being selected for which games? I mean, how is it going to be? Of course, and later on, you'll tell me how someone can walk in and register as an athlete.
Yeah. Before I answer your question on Abu Dhabi, let me just add something on Joshua about does it pay? Yes, a lot of payment, both direct and indirect. Of late, and I think it's since the enactment of the Sports Act 2013, we've seen the Ministry of Sports recognizing these athletes. And when they represent the country outside, they also get to get their allowances from the Ministry of Sports. And I can take you to 1, 2, 3 homes where an athlete has made a livelihood out of the payment they're getting from the Ministry of Sports. And many of them now are making it an economic activity. And even now, some of them, once they get this courage and confidence, they are able to charter into the mainstream sports and still make economic gain out of it. Indirectly, I can say, and Joshua will ascertain to that, once they participate in a team or in any sport, they gain social skill and life skills that every one of us needs. And we can say they increase their chances of employability. Though they may not get the white-collar job like most of us because of their level of education, they're able to do something that makes them productive member of the community. Some of them, they are married, they have children, they're taking care of their families just like any other person, so it pays. Now, coming to Abu Dhabi, yes, we'll be having our World Games in 2019. March 2019. Just like the Olympics, our World Summer Games are usually every 4 years, and the Winter Games are every 4 years. The difference is our games will happen 1 year before the main Olympics. For example, in 2019, we'll be having the World Summer Games. 2020 will be the main Olympics, yeah. So, and we have over 170 countries participating, over 7,000 athletes participating, and Kenya is one of the programs in Africa that has the largest delegation. We have a delegation of 74 players. It's unified, so that's why I'm calling it players, because we have, it's inclusive, where we have those with and without intellectual disabilities. And we are participating in 10 sports as Kenya. And it's huge, but we are happy to give our athletes the opportunity to go there and participate. How do we select? Unlike the other federations where you select the best from the clubs, ours, because of the virtue of our training and the science behind all this intellectual disability thing, they have to train and participate and compete as a team. So our hierarchy of selection starts from grassroots. In this, we'll say maybe from counties, then regions, then nationals. Then the winning team will proceed to represent the country. Because there are a lot of dynamics involved in training a team of persons with intellectual disabilities. That's why it's not easy to pick from everywhere and come and produce a team. So it's the team moves as a package. Yes.
How do you keep together, as in just the way Joshua Gara said, that you guys understand each other, know each other, you support each other? How do you manage all these athletes, both, the unified one? How do you do this until this moment? And of course, as you heard from Joshua, we've won accolades outside there.
There's a lot of capacity building in the sides of the coaches, because all this thing is made happen by a coach somewhere, because it's the coach who owns this team. And this coach is not only a sports coach, but sometimes they are the mentors, they are caregivers, they do a lot of things to bring. So there's a lot of work behind production of this team. And as Special Olympics, we do a lot of training to the coaches about maybe, for example, coaching strategies of coaching an individual with intellectual disabilities. When we talk about Unified, where it's an inclusive program, there are also strategies of bringing up that from the player identification, team formation, how the players, just to make sure that one player is not dominant above the others, or one player does not get meaningful involvement. So there's a lot of training and capacity building behind that, just to make sure you have a fair team.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
As we wind up, how can someone just, I know where offices are, but how do you, for a first timer back in the village, mtu ako huko Mandera, ako huko side za Malaba, how can they come and join? The branches in Malaba, in Mandera, in Kisumu, so they can know how they can be part of it. Yes
and no, because we are not organized as like branches, but we work in the grassroots. We work very closely with the Ministry of Education. So if you walk to any special school or special unit, you'll find a teacher there who knows about Special Olympics, because around more than 90% of our coaches are special needs education teachers, though we have other volunteers from other from other professions. But we are also on social media, so you can just, they can find us there. The other way they can get us, we also have family coordinators in the counties or regions, and those family coordinators can link you to Special Olympics. And when I talk about partnership with the Ministry of Education, we don't only cater for those who are in school. We have guys like Joshua, where the school will provide a facility where they can come if it's on a Saturday, and everybody from the community can come and train, in a safe space.
Susan Masila, National Director, Special Olympics Kenya. Joshua Agare, an outstanding athlete who definitely has been with this team for a very long time, winning all the goals that you can think about, the silvers, the bronze, knows it, has played it. A good story, a success story in Kenya. Joshua Agare, thank you very much for making time. Keep on doing that. Encourage watu nyumbani. Susan, tunashukuru sana, you've made time. And of course, I have to thank also our very own Milele FM presenter, Masi Mbone, for ensuring we get this interview. Masi Mbone, of course, tunashukuru sana. Yeye ni mtu ya Milele FM, one of our, of course, our radio stations here at Media Max Network. And of course, watu wa Manyata kutoka Kisumu, my very good friend Shukri Wachu told me to dedicate to you also this particular, because nyinyi mnakwanga wale die-hard supporters wa K24 Sports Hub. Asante sana. Special Olympics, can get it wako kwa website www.specialolympickskenya.org. Yes. Hapa unaweza enda, you will get all the information, so usikalie talent na umejua where you can get, of course, hizo ma details zote. And remember 2019 match wanaenda Abu Dhabi. Wame travel. Joshua Agare amekuwa na kitabu ya passport 900 pages, imekuwa stamped kila mahali. So of course that also, and also other monetary financial benefits are in this sport. Keep on doing it. We'll support you in your efforts. Asante sana Joshua and Susan. This of course is K24 Sports Hub. I'm your loyal servant Tony Kwalanda at K24 TV. Tony Kwalanda on Facebook, Tony Kwalanda on YouTube. Good afternoon.